Hi, welcome to the Mystic Media channel. I am your host, Rabina Rastavan, the Realist Astrologer. So today I just wanted to do a short video about why I call myself the Realist Astrologer. And this really goes to the other tools that I use as well, such as tarot, the I Ching, runes, and all of that. So basically, I'm a Capricorn rising and my moon is in Capricorn. So that gives me a strong bent towards realism. Now, my sun is in Sagittarius as well as my Mercury and Neptune, so I'm also an idealist at the same time. But because my moon is rising in Capricorn, I tend to project more of a realist persona. So, and I actually like that aspect of myself because while I'm very spiritual, I also keep it real and I don't sugarcoat. I don't fill people's heads with pie in the sky ideas, or I don't, just say things to make people feel good. Um, Only a couple of times I've been accused of being too harsh or insensitive in my approach, but most of my clients, they do appreciate my approach and they appreciate the fact that, I bring the spiritual down to a real world level. And basically, when I provide readings, I try to leave out a lot of the spiritual um, or astrological technical jargon so that I can translate what's coming from above down to the mundane level so that people can get a clearer understanding of what the message that I'm relaying is. Um, so I don't do general horoscopes, and part of the reason, well, the reason why is because I am a realist, and as an astrologer, and I consider myself to be a traditional astrologer, I don't subscribe to the whole sun sign astrology belief system that will basically legitimize generalized horoscopes. So that would include your generalized horoscope dailies that you find in the newspaper or magazines or on the internet, or that you get in your apps, or the monthly or yearly horoscopes. So when an astrologer or someone that's discussing astrology talks about, transiting Mars being in square to transiting Venus, and they apply it to the individual level, well, I feel that, that's erroneous, because really it's not going to affect you unless it's hitting a sensitive point or a certain planet or angle of your chart. So that's why I don't provide generalized horoscopes, because again, I like to keep it real. Another thing that I've found in the spiritual community, specifically dealing with tarot, is that I found that a lot of tarot readers shy away from the predictive or psychic aspect of reading, and that was actually surprising to me. I thought most tarot readers were comfortable with giving predictions and using tarot as a gateway into their psychic abilities. You have a lot of tarot readers that claim they're not even psychic, or that they're not using their psychic abilities when they do readings. There's a lot of tarot readers that just go off of the book meanings. Um, I'm not that type of reader. I do, you know, use the traditional meanings as a basis, but I'm the type of reader that uses tarot as a gateway into my psychic abilities. So once I have the cards laid out, I can see what the general meaning is, but then once I zone in on the cards, and I either use an individual card approach or a gestalt approach where I'm looking at the whole picture, the big picture, I'll interchange it depending on what my intuition is telling me to do. But basically, the cards are a gateway or an opening into my psychic abilities, and I'm able to pull information that is beyond the general interpretations of those cards. But I found that you have a lot of tarot readers that don't engage in that type of tarot reading, which they consider to be fortune telling. So I do take more of a fortune teller approach. And my thing is, I thought most people who come to tarot readers for answers, they are looking for that type of fortune telling, predictive approach, because most people want answers about their future. Some people come to me with questions about their past or whatever, but usually with any tarot reading, it's going to address the future. So I don't know how you can separate the two and say that you don't engage in predictive tarot reading. In terms of astrology, one of my specialties is predictive astrology, and I do provide forecasts um, weekly, monthly, and yearly, and I'll even do beyond the yearly if it's necessary. But yeah, but I keep it real at the same time. So if I see that a difficult transit is coming up, I'm not going to sugarcoat it and, communicate in these vague astrological terms. I'm going to tell you, what's what. So if I see that, someone has a Saturn square Venus transit coming up, I'm going to warn you that, there might be a financial issue that you have to address. Or, you might have to tighten up your spending. Or, there might be a responsibility that needs to be addressed within your relationship. So I try to translate the spiritual knowledge into a way where you can understand it on a real world level. Um, so yeah, so basically that's why I'm the realist astrologer. I don't get into the whole, you create your reality type of thing, and you're the master of your fate 100%, because I don't believe in that. I believe that we have free will, but only to a certain extent. I believe that there is a fence around free will most of the time, and that fence around free will consists of your astrological and numerological makeup, your genetics, your environment, and your subconscious drives. So I don't believe that anything is possible. I don't believe that, you can change your reality just by, focusing hard. I do believe that you can influence your reality by your thinking and by, your actions. And I do believe that we all play a strong role in, our future and destiny. However, I also believe that there are a lot of cards that are already dealt for us. And if you just take some time to think about life and think about the people in your life, or the people that you know, or the people that, you've learned about, you'll see that some things were just definitely destined. A perfect example of this is people who come into this world with disabilities or special needs. How do you explain that? How do you get around, a severe physical disability in terms of free will? How do you tell that person, well, no, anything's possible, you don't have to be disabled because, it's all in your mind. I don't subscribe to that belief. So, yes, I'm a realist in that I do believe that while we have free will, we are subject to a lot of constraints um, that are naturally inherent within us as souls. And that's the only way that we can be taught lessons and we can learn and we can evolve. If everything was up to free will, then what would really be the lesson to be learned in life? Like, you really have to think about that. So I like to attract the type of clients that have no problem dealing with hard truths, dealing with reality of situations. For instance, if you come to me about a potential relationship and I see that it's not going to work out, I'm not going to fill your head with false hopes. I'm going to tell you straight up, this is not the guy for you, or this is not the woman for you, or this person is just playing games with you. And because I'm such a realist, I do tend to gravitate towards those readings where, people have problems or pressing concerns, or they just need confirmation that, the person is not right for them. When I get questions like that, and if the person is not right for them, usually it's very clear in the card. So I don't, tell people things just because they want to hear them. I give you the straight up truth. And even if it's hurtful, what I do, and this is the compassionate side of my nature, I have Sun conjunct Neptune. Um, I'll try to give you solutions, and I'll try to help you to look at things on the bright side, and I'll try to, help you look at things from a spiritual approach, because often when you take a spiritual approach to things, it becomes less hurtful and you can gain more understanding. So that's what I try to help my clients with, giving them spiritual understanding of why they're encountering certain challenges and pitfalls and setbacks in their life. So instead of, just trying to make you feel good with all this woo woo, there's love everywhere, love and light. Instead, I'll tell you, no, this is wrong, or these are your flaws, but this is how you could correct them, or this is how you could try to do better next time, or this is how you could try to choose a better mate. Because I'm all about solutions. I'm all about problems and solutions instead of, poo-pooing and saying everything's going to be all right, because, sometimes everything is not going to be all right. Sometimes you do have to walk through the fire. Sometimes you do have to deal with some pain and anguish, but it's all about learning and growing and evolving. So basically, that's my style of providing readings and forecasts and things such as that. So yes, I am the realist astrologer. I keep it real. I don't pull no punches. I don't beat around the bush. I don't sugarcoat. So hopefully, people will appreciate that about me. And that does kind of set me apart from a lot of people in this new age movement. And I really don't subscribe to the whole new age movement. Again, like I said, I'm a traditional astrologer. That Capricorn energy, I'm a traditionalist. So while I am very spiritual and I do like the esoteric and all of that stuff, I take a traditional real world approach. So that's who I am. Peace and blessings.